Hello, everybody. I'm Randy Baxter. I'm the president of Asset Positioning Services, and today's topic is why is estate planning like a box of chocolates? And I know y'all have heard me refer to my friend Forrest every once in a while, but I want to talk to you about that word chocolate a minute. When I was in the seventh grade, I attended a school where my mom taught, and we were in a spelling bee, and she thought I was going to do really, really good. And as I got up there on the stage, and my first word that they gave me was chocolate, and I misspelled it and got eliminated on the very first word of the whole spelling bee. And I couldn't hardly look at my mom for a long time. I was so ashamed. But anyway, I hope I spelled it right this time. I think I checked it. But anyway, what I want to talk to you about is all the different things that happen to you when you get into estate planning. So some of it you'll be aware of, but it's like a box of chocolate because you never know what you're going to get, or because you enjoy the variety and the diversification of what you may find. Folks, I've talked to so many people in the past 2 or 3 weeks. I mean, all spectrums of life. And to be honest with you, I love it. I mean, it's enjoyable to be able to do that. So, and I hope as you learn to do that too. So you might wonder, what in the world is he talking about? So let's look at it. The term estate planning refers to the facilitation and ultimately the preparation of tasks that serve to manage an individual's financial situation in the event of their incapacitation or death. The planning includes, though, the bequest of assets to heirs and the settlement of estate taxes and debts, along with other considerations like the guardianship of minors and pets. Now, if you try to do that, you'll be making $1,200 each time you do one, and you'll have to sell a whole bunch of $1,200 to make a lot of money. But there's a whole lot more to it than that. A whole lot more to it. An estate plan is just an empty shell when someone buys it. And if it's not properly implemented with proper funding practices, it's always going to be either empty or broken. So the true income, the true reason that I like to do estate planning is because it gives me the opportunity to go in and fix this very situation. And if I use the Family Tree Asset Positioning Go-To First Interview, I know that I'm going to cover every aspect of the funding of that estate plan before I sell them anything, and before I ask them to buy anything, and before I'm need to know things. I'm going to ask them all the questions in advance. I'm going to underwrite their life completely without ever, until I'm ready, asking them to buy anything. And when it's time to ask them to buy anything, it's going to be because they identified the problem and they became solution aware. And then they became product aware. And my job after they become product aware is just to show them the different products and the different options to solve their problem. Once they see that problem is solved with a certain product, they'll buy it from you. Don't try to sell them something that they haven't identified as the solution to their problem. And if you do it that way, your income goes up. So that's just a word of advice. You don't have to follow it if you don't want to, but I think it's pretty good advice. But anyway, so we already know that about 5 out of 10 adults will have no plan at all. So they're depending on the probate court to settle their estate. We already know that. And 12% of the population of the United States right now is poverty stricken. So of those 5 who don't have a will or trust, one of them can't afford it. Maybe 2. So you can just push them out of the way and don't ignore them. I mean, help them, give them something to eat or something, but don't count on them to be an income source for you in estate planning. So, but the other 5, there they are. Have you ever seen that from an airplane? The other five they either have a will or a trust, and they will, in most cases, be unfamiliar with the contents of that will or trust, and most are improperly funded. I had a conversation with a lady the other day in a little country club out in one of the small counties around here, and she said, "Well, I bought a trust," and I said, "Well, how long you had it?" She said, 7 years. And I said, "Well, is it properly funded?" And she said, "What's that mean?" She said, "I thought when you bought the trust, everything was taken care of." Ha ha. Anyway, um, let me ask you a question, and this is a serious question. Who does the estate planning for your clients? Is it even happening at all? Are your clients qualified suspects? Again, who does the estate planning for your clients? Are they doing it themselves? Is some other insurance agent doing it, or some other financial planner or stockbroker? Why are you not doing it? So, you know, you have to be aware of the opportunity costs of entering or not entering the estate planning markets. This is serious. And whether you do or you don't, there's opportunity costs on either one. Some opportunity costs are negative if you don't. Some opportunity costs are positive if you do. So what I want to do right now is I just want to talk about the opportunities of entering financial services and or adding estate planning to your product or service portfolio. So the first thing you need to know, why do I call estate planning the front end sale? Because I tell you all the time, that's the front end sale. I'm not trying to poo-poo it or discount it at all, because if I make 7 or 8 estate plan sales on the front end, or no, let's don't say 7 or 8. That's not fair. Although my students already have done about 26 this month. The um, let's just say I do 2, and I sell it for $19.95. That means I get $2,400 to apply toward my business expenses, my rent, my gas, my lunch money. Some of you say, "Well, I can run a business on 4 sales a month." Well, great, that's great. Okay, but why do I call it a front end sale? Why do I call it the superior approach and the most distinctive approach? If it wasn't superior and distinctive, it wouldn't be so easy. Some of y'all make it hard, but it's not hard. If you do what I'm trying to teach you, you'll see that it's the superior way to approach someone who has not done business with you in the past. It is the superior way to add additional products and services to people who have already done business with you in the past. And if you think about the definition of the word distinctive, oh, I misspelled approach. Greg, if you're online, there it is. I always misspell something, don't I? It's the most distinctive approach, which means if you're distinctive, you stand out. You're different. You're not the same. So many of you agents, when you talk to me, you go, IUL, 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 IUL. And the first thing comes out of your mouth, IUL. And some of you, the first thing you say is Medicare, 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 Medicare. Those are products, folks. It's not a process. And so you're distinctive if you approach people in a way that they have not been approached before. And if they say, "Why would you want to do that?" You say, "It's because you might learn something in which you were not aware." I'm sorry I misspelled approach. I knew better, but I didn't know it. Anyway, it's a front end sale. Okay, because it leads. I call it threading the sale because it leads to discussions of all financial products and services. Wouldn't that be nice if you had something like that in your inventory? You do. Are you using it? Some are. Some have used it and it worked so well they quit doing it. So, it's superior because it allows you to cover the whole spectrum of financial services without being pushy or product driven until a need is established. And you all have seen the triangles that I drew. And when I talk about the triangle, where the bottom of the triangle, your person is unaware, and then they become aware, and then they become solution aware that, hey, there's a solution to this problem. Y'all don't know this, but I was up on my roof yesterday trying to fix a spot where a raccoon tries to keep coming in and tearing things up. And I was thinking linear instead of circular, and I couldn't solve it until I went circular with my solution. I didn't know it all, but I fixed that raccoon. But it's superior because it allows you to cover the whole spectrum of financial services without being pushy or product driven until a need is established. You don't insert the salesman until your prospect has gone through the unaware, aware, solution aware, product awareness stage. You insert the salesman right between solution aware and product aware. If you're inserting the salesman anywhere else, you're losing the sale. It's distinctive in that few people lead with this approach. That's what makes it distinctive. Few know how to do it. Few. And few understand that people become prospects because they think they would benefit from a conversation with you about their current estate plan. That's where I want them to be. That's where I want to take them. I don't want to take them to IUL, IUL, IUL. I don't want to take them to Medicare, Medicare, Medicare. I don't want to take them to annuity, 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 or life insurance, life insurance, life insurance, or look how good an investment advisor I am. I want them, if I want to expose them to all of that and give myself an opportunity to sell them the products that they feel are the most important at the time, I need to be able to approach them in a superior and distinctive way that separates me from all the other folks. So, when we said, life is like a box of chocolates, if you approach people like that, let me tell you about some things you're going to find. You might find new parents. You might find new grandparents. You might find new retirees. You might find soon to be retirees. Now, these are all different pieces of chocolate. You might find a newly divorced person. I was thinking of some other ones I left off when I was out there uh, chasing bees a few minutes ago, so they wouldn't eat holes in the wood on my deck by the swim pool. But you might run into the newly divorced, the soon to be divorced, the lottery winners, the newly diagnosed cancers, the stroke victims, the people with a spouse with dementia. See, when you do the questionnaires in the page 1, page 2, page 3 of the confidential, you're covering all these details and you're not trying to sell them anything and you're not judging them. You're just saying, I'm going to be a better advisor if I understand these things in your life. That's a skill that few salespeople have. A lot of them go, let me say an IUL. I'll ask you medical questions later. Let's see if you want to buy this IUL. And they have no idea that they might not qualify for it or that they might already have one. It's okay. So I sell IUL. I don't sell very many. The average premium on the ones I sell is about $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 annual. But I do it by being distinctive and using a superior approach. This, what I'm about to do, is not part of the script, but I think I'm going to sneeze. Wait a minute. No, I'm not. Okay. So anyway, you might even run into, which you heard me talk about this before, you might run into the Brady Bunch. You might run into Jed Clampett and his crew. You might run into the Cartwrights. You might run into the Jetsons. You might run into the Flintstones or the Skipper or Gilligan or the Professor. I should have put Anne Marianne and Ginger, or you might run into Thurston Howell III. You don't know until you do the proper approach what you're going to find. And you will not find the same thing every time. You also might run into a butcher and his wife, a baker, a candlestick maker, a union man, an entrepreneur. You might run into the Fuller Brush man, Barney Fife, the man from U.N.C.L.E., $6 million man. You don't know who you're going to run into or what you're going to run into, but the process is the same. And if you learn the process and become fluent at the process, you will all of a sudden be superior and distinctive to your competition, because you, especially distinctive. You're also going to run into same-sex couples, and same-sex couples need estate planning sometimes more than other people, because sometimes they've got problems with their families. Sometimes they don't, but sometimes they do. And it's important that they have the same documents that we're talking about. You may run into a May-December romance. My best friend was in one of those. She was 30, he was 67, but she died first. He died second. They left their little 3-year-old child with the grandparents. With the grandparents who were younger than he was. You might run into a little old lady who lived in a shoe. You might run into King Midas. You might run into St. Francis of Assisi, or parents with a disabled child. And if you run into those parents with a disabled child, they are going to be so glad that you know what you know and that you do what you do. That's why I try to teach what I know, and that's why I try to teach what I do. But you might run into someone who recently experienced probate in their own lives some way, or run into second marriages, or third and fourth, or estranged parents who are estranged from a child. I've had people come in and talk to me and say they haven't talked to their son in 20 years. They don't even know if he's alive or dead. Should they include him in the trust? They want to. They love him. They don't know why he left them. I usually look at him and say, well, he's either dead or he doesn't love you. I hate to say things like that, but sometimes you got to shake somebody and get them to realize what's going on. But, how are you going to get into that conversation unless you draw their family tree? And you explain to them how trust works in reverse now. And talk to them about their real estate. I get lots of people in Tennessee are moving to Tennessee, and they have real estate in California and Arizona and Indiana and Illinois and New Jersey, and help them. Our quitclaim deed sales in the past month have gone up from about $1,200 a month to almost $4,000. If you want to learn how to do that, talk to me. I may talk to you about it sometime, but it's a pretty nice little income. Don't try to live on it, but I sure does buy some really good gravy. But anyway, so I'm just going to ask you the question: what type of estate planner will you be? And this is serious. And if I step on your toes, it's not my fault. I'm just trying to describe what we have in inventory. So, I love you all, but this is my experience here. My experience is established agents come to me with a clientele already, and they're looking to add a new product and service to their existing book of business. Most of those people don't even attend class. They're already motivated. They already understand the need. They see the potential. They understand that they can be superior and distinctive and go in and talk to someone they've been talking to for years with a different approach, a different concept, opens the doors. They bring they provide the witnesses, and the established agents gets two new suspects. And that's the original theory that I tried to teach you. Folks, I stay so busy, I can't get all my work done. Um, that's my fault because I like what I'm doing. But the established agents that are looking to add, that should be ADD, the math word, not the disease. But anyway, established agents looking to add a new product and service. That's two misspelled words, sorry. And a new product and service to their existing book of business. Well, some agents don't have that. Some agents are looking to break out of the product mode. If they only know one sales thing, IUL, that's all they know, eventually they burn out. Medicare, same way. Final expense. Sometimes I run into captive agents. Sometimes I run into agency builders. Sometimes I run into what I call a rainmaker. I consider myself a rainmaker. I know how to generate leads and names and let them all fall in my lap. And I try to teach you all, and especially people who need leads. And I say, well, here, do it this way, and they'll all fall in your lap. And then I talk to you, and you say, I need leads. And I say, well, are you doing what I teach you? No. Well, I'll go, okay. But I also run into PNC agents who want to add new products. I'm also running into agents looking for a market to enter, just any market. They say, I don't have a market. I don't have a market. I always look at them and go, what kind of glasses do you wear? So, and then occasionally I run into agents who are relocating, that moving to a new area and say they don't have a market. Well, that's perfect to do the workshop. The relocating agent to do a workshop automatically, they putting themselves in a mix of people in the local area. So when I said gents looking to be trained and coached, I didn't mean that. That's my third misspelled word. That should be agents looking to be trained and coached. If you're not trainable and if you're not coachable, you're wasting your time and mine. Because all I can say to you is, why would you come to me to learn what I know and what I do, and then learn it and not implement? Remember, most of you know my word for 2024 is implementation. And if you're not implementing, all you're doing is getting smarter. And it's okay if you get smarter. It doesn't bother me if you get smarter. But if you're not making any more money, even though you're smarter, then you're not implementing. So an agent should be looking to build momentum. But some people, as they build momentum, forget the basics, and they want to go to step 3 and 4 and 5 before they master step 1 or 2. So go ahead and put some sugar water in your gas tank if you want to. But I would suggest cleaning that gas tank out of all that gunk and put some real fuel in it by doing what you need to do that's right. So, and then also I get some slow starters and some no launchers. See that dog looking at that sandwich? That dog knows he wants to eat that sandwich, but he just can't do what he's got to do to get up and go over and eat it. I thought that dog was a perfect picture, because there's some people out there that just are slow starters, and that's where I try to decide when I'm talking to them, are they giving me good reasons or real reasons? How can I best help this person? So, I can help those agents solve that dilemma if they are trainable and coachable. And like I said, some of you don't need training and some of you don't need coaching at all. All you want is another product to offer your existing clients, and you're going to be good at it, even if that doesn't have to be estate planning. It can be apples and bananas. They'll probably buy them from you. So So I get some licensees who just never launch, even when offered the perfect sales and marketing systems. Now, I don't know, y'all might think I'm bragging if I say it's the perfect sales and marketing system, but it is, especially uh, if you want to learn to do one-on-ones, and if you want to learn to do one-on-many, and if you want to learn to do how to bring them in to as suspects and turn them into prospects on a group basis. So it's just a poor mindset most of the time is why people become uh, uh, this guy. Oh, they want that sandwich so bad, but it's so far away. Well, it doesn't look like it's too far away to me, but maybe to that dog, maybe that's far away. Maybe that's too hard to go do. You know, but most of the time, people who never launch, it's just a poor mindset. Sometimes I can identify it as a lack of confidence. And sometimes it's just a persistent habit, or I'm going to change that, persistent bad habit. Or maybe it's even a choice to stay where they are. Maybe there's no reason to come out of where they are. That's okay too. So I tried to get that so inside that bubble. I never could figure it out. But anyway, estate planning is like a box of chocolates. You actually never know what you're going to get. You never know. That estate plan that I sold 15 in 2009 gave me $200,000 this morning. And now I have $2,200,000 worth of their money. So each piece is a surprise. Each case, look at that, move back forward. Don't those look good? Each case is a fantastic journey. Each different. Each leads to the next one. That's the hard part. It does lead to the next one. But so anyway, I'm going to stop right there and ask you guys, do you have any questions? Oh, come on. Some of you have questions. Are there any questions in the chat room, Lisa?
Nothing in the chat yet, Randall.
Okay, so somebody tell me what you're thinking. If you're sitting there going, "Hey, I really want to do this," my question for you is, why are you here and why are you not doing it? If you're already got an existing great business, you might look at it and say, "Well, maybe I don't want more business." I'm at that point right now where I don't have to go out and hunt, but I know how to hunt. And the reason I don't have to go out and hunt is because I've already done a lot of hunting. And I have a lot of clients who this is sad. I have a lot of clients who some of them pass away, some of them get sick, some of them leave their jobs, some of them retire. Those are all the pillars of economic change. And because I know them and because they want to know how it affects their estate plan that they've already bought from me, they call me and they go, "What should I do?" I had a stockbroker call me yesterday and say, "Randy, I've been resisting you, but I think the advice you're giving my client is correct. And I think tomorrow she's going to give me $700,000 on an Emeritus contract out of the IRA that she's got." And the reason why is because of the definition of the terms in the Emeritus contract. Not because I think Emeritus is a great product in the world, not because I'm the best salesman in the world, but I've known these people for 2 years and I've been telling them the same thing every time and they've never acted on it. And then they get into this spot where, what are we going to do? And I looked at them and I said, "You ought to do what I asked you to do 2 years ago." And I haven't changed. The product hasn't changed. The solution hasn't changed. You are at that point where you're not unaware anymore. You're aware that you have a problem. You know that you have to find a solution for it. And right now you're stuck on the wrong product for the solution. You need to go from maybes to sure things. And that's what I've been trying to show you for 2 years. And she said, well, you're probably right. Then she called yesterday afternoon and said, everybody I talked to agrees that you're right. And I said, well, it's about time, about ding dang time. No, I didn't say that to her though. I didn't say ding dang. That's ding dang's probably not nice. But anyway, so I'll stop right there. Are there any now? Do you have any questions?
Randall, you had mentioned earlier about a quick claim deed salesman. What are you speaking of?
Well, every trust that you run into to be properly funded has to have the real estate placed in the trust, and you do that with a quitclaim deed. Well, in my county, it costs $12 to register it and $75 to have the attorney do it. But what I've also found that other trust companies charge $350 for that. No one has told me that's too expensive. So I was charging them $130 because I didn't know any better. So now I charge $350, and my cost stayed the same. So I got a $87.50 cost and a $350 revenue. Everybody has to put their house in a trust. We just do it for them. And in the next week, I think not next week, but the week after, we're going to do a class on DeedWorks, and I'll teach y'all how to do the DeedWorks. I won't going to teach you. I'm going to have Courtney, our attorney, teach you how to do it. She does them herself in Tennessee, but if she runs into an out-of-state trust, she uses DeedWorks. So you want to boost your revenue, sell more trusts, and do the deed work. Does that answer your question, Harry? I mean, Eddie?
Yes, sir.
Okay, if you sell 10 trusts in a month, that's $3,500 in gross revenue and $790 something maybe or 700 whatever it is in costs. That's pretty good. And that's a side sale to the estate plan and the funding process. So, all of a sudden you have all these different revenue streams if you're doing estate planning. You get the revenue stream coming in from the sale of the estate plan. You get the revenue stream coming in from the sale of the life insurance or the annuity contract or the assets under management or the long-term care, whatever it is. And then you get the income stream from the future sale, and you get the income stream from the deeds. And people will pay $75 for you to scan it in and post it in a Dropbox form. I didn't realize it till a couple months ago. Thanks to Jay Cadlick, he's taught us that people will pay to do that. So I think so I go in and I set those products up on Samcart. It's like PayPal, but you can design each product on Samcart and do your price. And when they buy it, you put their credit card in, and it registers their credit card and prints off a receipt, and you can send it to the receipt, and the receipt will say exactly what it is you're doing, what the price was, and then Samcart puts it in your bank account after charging you 3% about 2 days later. Now, that's not a lot, but I think it's generated an extra $150 or $200 and something this month. So all these little things start adding up, but not if you don't take the first step. And the first step is a distinctive, superior approach that leads to everything else. The Wizard of Oz said some people go both ways. Just follow the yellow brick road. That's what I'm telling you. Everything I've told you is yellow brick road. If you just get on it and stay on it, keep moving forward, your momentum will build if you don't get attacked by the wild apple trees. And if you do, don't worry about it. You can handle them. Now, anybody else got any more questions?
Mike has a question in the chat, Randall.
Go ahead, Mike.
He said, please explain what you like about the terms of the emeritus contract.
Well, I like the terms about the emeritus contract that I like is that it's unfunded. It needs somebody to go in and explain it to the person that bought it. And it needs somebody to go in and teach them how to properly fund this shell of a contract. That's the real answer. It's the same. I mean, it's a revocable trust just like anything else. I don't want people, I will not let any of my licensees deliver those things if they don't meet my qualifications. And that means you have to be able to sell one. You have to be licensed in California. You have to be licensed with Simplicity if you want it free. And if you want to buy them, I'll sell them to you for $150 a piece. But I have no other way to make money other than teach you how to do it right. I don't ask you for a split on your commission. I just need to be able to get the override a little bit, and I'll coach you through it. So, that's what I like about it is I don't want you selling their contract. Their contract's a great contract, but they're selling them in October and delivering them in March. When one of my people in my office, if they sell a contract on Monday, I want it delivered the next Monday because while it's fresh on their mind, I want them to be ready to go in for the back end sale or the funding process. There's a difference. Any other questions?
Javier Garcia has a question in the chat.
Go ahead, Javier.
I understand that there are several online training options. Can you please mention the different options? And if Las Vegas is a condensed version, also if I decide to go to Vegas, will I still be required to enroll in the main program?
Oh, Javier. First of all, the boot camp really is for my licensees, but if you're not a licensee, I'm charging $99.95 for the boot camp in Las Vegas. So you're better off if you become a licensee. If you're looking for a shortcut, there is no shortcut. I've got people that have been with me for 2 years now and are still learning. I've got some people that learn it all in 30 minutes. So what you'll get in the boot camp is every bit of it intense in one day, face to face by the person who wrote it and the person who does it every day, and the person that's very successful at it, and meet the people that help me be successful at it. So, if you want to put human faces to what's going on, come to the boot camp. But it is for the licensees, and we want you to become a licensee. You can become a licensee for $49.95 a month, and if you don't want your license, you can cancel it. But I really want licensees there. But if you show up, I'm going to say, "Hi, Javier. I feel like I know you. Come on in, and I'll teach you what I know." It doesn't matter to me. But trying to cram it all down in one day, it won't work.
Javier said, "Okay, I understand," in the chat.
Okay. Next question.
Nothing more in the chat.
Really? No. Well, okay. So next week I want to be in Las Vegas doing a boot camp. Okay. You will be receiving the agenda and the link. And Javier, if you want to, you can attend it on Zoom. I'm going to be teaching it on Zoom. You'll be receiving the agenda and the link, and you can tune in as you like. So if you have the agenda, now I'm only going to send the agenda to the licensees. So those are the people that are in Tennessee and Virginia and Florida and places like that can't make it to Las Vegas. You'll be able to attend that boot camp by watching the Zoom call. But that Zoom call is going to start at 8 o'clock Las Vegas time, which is 10 o'clock your time if you're in the East Coast. And it's going to go all the way until 3:30 Eastern Standard Time. But if you have the agenda, you can tune in just to the time frames that you think you need some work. And that's okay with me. You'll be receiving the agenda and the link, and you can tune in as you like. Break at 10:45 a.m. Las Vegas time. Break at noon to 12:45 so we can have lunch and everything. And this will be your class next week. We won't be having a class at 3 o'clock next week. Unless you want to tune in on I think it won't be 3 o'clock. About the 3 o'clock class will be the 1 o'clock class where you'll meet. I'll be doing a recap of the morning, and then you'll meet Tony Rinaldi, who does the deferred sales trust. Remember the last deferred sales trust I did? I picked up a check for $130,000 and went back 2 days later and picked up an extra $1 million in Imago. So they already had a revocable trust, but they didn't. They needed a way to defer some capital gains. So selling an estate plan will, you don't know what you're going to get. It's like a box of chocolate. You might go in and do a revocable trust and find out that they're selling real estate left and right in order to retire. And they're trying to avoid paying all that capital gains tax in the same year. Deferred sales trust. Tony Rinaldi. He'll write it for you. You fund it with an annuity contract. Any other questions? There's so many sales opportunities out there. You just have to learn them. Anything else?
Ed had a question in the chat.
Go ahead, Ed.
Can I please get the name of the workshop folks again, please?
Can you put that up, Lisa?
Yes.
The workshop folks. Jeff Mills and Greg, if you're on here, get that information to whoever asked that question. And let me tell you about the workshops. Workshops are working great. You have a workshop on Tuesday, and if you're not writing business by the next Tuesday or Thursday, it's because you're not following the script I wrote, and you're not implementing like I'm teaching you. And that's not my fault. It works. $3,500 for Jeff Mills. Give him 3 weeks to set up your workshop. Pick out a good venue for him, the libraries in your area, whatever. You have to do a little shopping there to find out how to do that. And go in and do a real good show and follow my script. We've even got the PowerPoints for the workshop. But I don't want to give them away if you're not a licensee. I want you to be a licensee. There's no story about a farmer that gave away all of his watermelons and all of his produce and even delivered them for people. And then pretty soon he had to buy a new truck. So I can't do it for free. Don't want to do it for free. But I'll give you Jeff Mills' name. You can use the script that I have if you're a licensee. And I think, so far we've closed about $500,000 and opened about another $2 million on the workshops that we've done since February, the third week in February, which is not so far away. Jeff Mills.
Jeff's contact details are in the chat.
Okay. All righty. What else you got there?
Mike says, thanks, Randy. That's really great that you're Zooming your Vegas workshop.
Well, I didn't decide to do it until I realized that the folks on the East Coast need to have a chance to see it. And you're welcome. What else we got?
Nothing more.
Really? Okay. Well, I'm going to go outside and play in the flowers. And I got to put some water on my dirt that I put out in my grow boxes. And so the dirt will sink into the wood mulch so the roots will grow down in there and get something to eat. But I got to let it soak down first. So I'm going to do that this afternoon. Anything else? Listen, one other screen right here I think you need to be aware of. I need to find trainable and coachable licensed financial service providers with a notary capability. And I'm going to focus on trainable and coachable. And don't come to me if you're not trainable and coachable. I don't know what to do with you. Be honest. But if you are, I'm probably a good connection for you. I'm going to go. I'm going to give you one more minute to ask questions. Oh, I'm not. I'm going to go right now. Hey, we'll talk to y'all later. I hope you have a great day and good meeting today. And I appreciate every one of you for coming. Thanks. Bye.